Hi, my name is Sushant Gupte, and I'm from World Pharma today. Today, I have with me the Chief Technology Officer of Velocity Clinical Research, Raghu. Raghu, welcome.
Hi, Sushant. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate it.
Likewise, Raghu. Raghu, before we begin the questions,
Yep.
if you could just let me know more about the company, your profile in it, and of course, what exciting plans are moving forward. I mean, we talk about something which we are going to expect in the years to come. What is that one thing that you would want to highlight here?
Yep. So Velocity Clinical Research, like the names, hints, we are into the clinical research, and we are the single largest site organization with about 70 plus sites across the world. And we are primarily focusing on participating motivated heroes to help accelerate our research. And we try to find them and we try to retain them safely throughout the life of the study. And we provide the data as part of the clinical research to our customers. And my role is to really apply some of the leading technologies to help meet our core purpose, which is deliver accelerated research at scale. And what really excites me on any given day, Sushant, is how Velocity is so open to innovation, not just leadership, the operations, the site operations, the financial operations, the HR operations. Everyone is really eager to apply technology to help meet the purpose. That's what excites me. Every day we wake up and try to see how we can help to meet our mission much faster. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Raghu. I mean, just to let our viewers know about it, Velocity partners with, of course, pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies across the world to research on new drugs, medical devices, diagnostics, as well as a combination products too, which could obviously improve the human health and their well-being. So, Raghu, if I were to ask you first, what are the biggest challenges within clinical trials today,
Yep.
and how would generative AI help to solve them?
That's a great starting point, right? I think clinical trials are under enormous pressure, be it the raising operational costs, or complex protocols, or staff shortages, or increasingly stricter timelines. And this is where I believe Gen AI has the potential to address several of these the challenges head on. Now, if you zoom out a little bit and look at all these challenges, recruitment isn't just the biggest challenge, it is the challenge in clinical research. And if you double click into that, they're like patient matching is the biggest one that has to be done correct. This is where Gen AI comes into picture. Traditional systems rely on rigid keyword searches rather than relying on some of the actual intent behind it. That's where Gen AI applies its semantic lens and its control intelligence and identifies patients who meet the criteria, even if the data that they expressed is in an unstructured format or in a different format that a traditional keyword match cannot find. This is a major, major leap in cutting the recruitment timelines. The second factor is in recruitment is how do we predict the site performance or a study performance? This is important both for the sites like ours and the sponsors. And this is where GenAI comes into picture again. It can use the historical data and have a decent knowledge of the study performance. And it can also bring its control intelligence and put these two together and do a great job of predicting the site or study performance instead of assuming something. Velocity has close to 65 million patient touch points in the last 2 years.
Oh,
This is giving us uniquely rich data set to fuel the predictive modeling. This is not just the efficiency, which is where I think the AI is. This is innovation, because it's just helping how to understand how the trials will perform before they even launch. And that's the power of GenAI, and combined with the data set and the scale that we have. And finally, the GenAI can predict, in addition to the prediction, it can reduce the staff burden. If you put this on agentic mode and we use it with the right guardrails, it can automate the redundant and repetitive tasks like reconciliation, feasibility analysis, or any of the deviation management. This allows our site staff to focus on what's the most important factor, the patients and the data integrity. If I have to summarize, everyone is talking about how we can use AI efficiency, but we are focusing on innovation, using AI to actually change trials and how they're run, not just make them a little faster. Hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
As you said, GenAI obviously plays a pivotal role, and considering that, it has obviously, accelerated the patient recruitment as well. How has Velocity Clinical Research managed to make utmost use of this so as to enhance the trial timelines?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I think, like we just talked about, recruitment is the single biggest determinant of a trial success. And that's one of the reasons why Velocity has invested heavily in making it faster and more predictable with our vision technology.
Yes.
Over the last year and a half, we've kind of randomized close to 10,000 patients across 250 plus studies. All of this through automated pre-screening, automated intelligent trial matching, self-scheduling, and engaging them through the screening stage. And just to give some more data points, I think to illustrate the power of AI and the scale, each month we reach out to close to 300,000 participants. We scan our 1.5 million database on a daily basis and find the right match for the study criteria. And we have any given time, we probably have close to 1,000 plus studies we're actively recruiting for. And the scale of these interactions, like I talked about, 65 million touch points, that strengthens our algorithms. And we're consistently improving our matching capability and the speed at which we do that. And because of our integrated site network, because we are based on a common infrastructure, it allows us to scale these innovations and tools consistently across all of our 70 plus sites across the world. This means the sponsors can expect predictable and repeatable results across the geographies. And if I have to tell, we can definitely continue to improve. I'm not saying we've done everything we can. We can obviously do a lot more, learn a lot more. But one of the good outcomes we're seeing is we're able to activate sites much faster, almost like 2/3 better than what the industry average is. This kind of speaks for the fusion of AI and the infrastructure and the operations and the people and all of them bound together by the innovation focus.
Raghu, can Gen AI enhance the engagement of patients and obviously their retention within trials?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sushant. I think participants is at the center of every decision we make. And that's one of the other reasons why we invested in Vision Engage, which is our end-to-end patient engagement tool or app. It's available both on iOS and Android. Participants can, if I just set the ground first, then I think we'll go into how AI can really help. Today, using the app, participants are able to upload their health data. We're using different means to make it super easy for them. They can speak, they can take a picture, they can hand enter, we can do anything. And they can self-pre-screen and they can schedule the appointments at their convenience time. And they can also express what therapeutic areas is of interest for them. And we're able to complement that with tailored automated notifications to engage them through the life of the study. We're able to do this only because our AI algorithms are recommending the next best personalized engagement step for the participant. Any given time, we have close to 30 to 40 studies at minimum at a site, and it's not easy for a motivated participant to understand which one to really self-pre-screen. That's where we use intelligent recommendation engine that tells them, hey, here are the potential matches for you. Why don't you try out and do a pre-screening on that? And we're seeing some positive results here. Just to kind of share some good numbers behind it, because I believe practical examples kind of underline the impact AI is making. We have close to 150,000 app users, and 50% are reasonably active, and 20% of them. In fact, I think the term that the industry uses is the monthly active user rate, the MAU rate for the app. We're about 20%. That's a reasonably good number. We can definitely do much better. In the last 3 months alone, we had close to 9,000 patient referrals done by our own participants using the app. That really underlines the power of engagement and how GenAI can help there. And we kind of couple the flexible payment banking initiatives, and in addition to these engagement tools, this really helped us improve our retention rate and also randomization rate, especially for vaccine trials over the last few quarters. So in summary, if I have to say again, Vision Engage is like a bridge, an intelligent bridge between participants and research. It reduces the friction, keeps the patients in trials, and for the sponsors, it gives them better data. And we're able to do this because of the AI scale. It's not easy for accomplishing the same results doing manually or using traditional automation approaches.
Well, talking about the references which you've just mentioned, I mean, how good is the seamlessness on the app? Because I'm sure that because of the fact that it is very seamless, that's the reason you have your patients referring others. So how would you rate that?
Rate the experience on the app?
Yes, the experience on the app, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. We do request the participants to rate their visit experience on a scale of 1 to 5. And consistently, our average is around 4.8. So that is a fact that, and even if the app ratings are also hovering around north of 4.5. So that's how we consistently monitor it. And the participants do give us feedback on their visits or what they would like to see on the app. And we're constantly reviewing that, and that goes into our product backlog as we improve the app features.
Okay. So there is a consistency which is maintained. Obviously, I mean, there are certain things that you would keep doing and make the app even more user-friendly. Right, Raghu?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is one of the things we believe is, if we improve the participant experience,
right,
the outcomes will follow that. And both for us, for our customers. So we're constantly listening. We continuously interview our participants. We have a working group where participants are part of that on a quarterly basis. They give the feedback, and we improve that focused on their feedback. So,
what about the geography? I mean, if you talk about specifically the geography, is there a particular segment which is using it more as compared to other?
That's a good question. I do have to look at the specific numbers, but I think notionally, we do see the representation of the usage actually representing the population. So it's available in US, both in English and Spanish. It's available in EU. We got UK and Poland and Germany. And we see consistent to our participant levels in those databases. But the specific numbers, I'll have to check, and I can definitely share with you. So
yeah, sure, Raghu. I mean, so if you could please put some light on the ethical concerns which arise when we talk of the use of AI, because obviously there's a lot of talk about it, and how that pertains to the patient data.
Yeah. Shashank, this is one of the most important questions that's facing our industry right now. AI in clinical research can't just be about speed or efficiency. It has to be about responsibility and trust. Um, so that's why we developed an AI governance framework at Velocity. It's built on Gartner's TRISM model, and we fusioned it with Microsoft's responsible AI principles. We recently published an article on that online. And what we believe is not all AI belongs in clinical trials. Our governance model that I just talked about is how we decide which model does. Every AI tool that we use has to pass through this governance model and through a governance council. And it has to be assessed. It will be assessed against three key pillars. Like the TRISM model says, the trust. I'm just going to go a little more detail into this because it's very important and very close to my heart, Sushant. Trust. Can the model explain its outputs in human understandable terms? Does it perform consistently across all demographics? Does it prevent unauthorized training or data retention? And the next one is risk. Are operational, legal, and compliance risks, can they be anticipated? Can they be mitigated? Lastly, the security. Is the data protected against the leakage or misuse? The governance models applies these, like I said, to all of our AI models. Anyone wants to use it, they have to pass this framework. Whether it's patient-facing or sponsor dashboards or third-party integrations, there's no exception. We're not interested, like I said, using any AI model that's available. We're really interested in using the ones that demonstrably are safe, explainable, and fit for purpose in a highly regulated environment for us, for like ours. The impact of one bad AI decision isn't operational, Sushant. It is ethical. That's why governance is our first priority. And this is the starting point. We're continuously going to improve the governance and learn from the best practices out there. But we take this extremely seriously as we embrace and adopt AI in our operations and as we innovate.
So Raghu, when you talk about governance, obviously governance differs from geographies to geographies. I mean, we talk about governance, which is particularly very different in EU. Probably that governance would be completely different in, say, the US. So, is there a plan in place? Obviously, there would be a plan in place. So, how do we go ahead with it?
Well, I think that's a good question, Shushan. This is a framework. At the end of the day, the compliance needs of the geographies have to be met, right? And if it's EU, EU has its own, GDPR, frameworks or compliance needs. And the US has, and California has its own equivalent. And those are all, we do have our SOPs which continue to govern that. In addition to that, the AI model that we just talked about is complementing that, making sure the AI models are complying to those respective non-negotiable compliances.
Great. So, are there any more partnerships or collaborations that Velocity Clinical Research has on the path, or is it looking out forward to in order to maximize the potential of AI when it comes to the clinical trials? I'm specifically talking about the collaborations and partnerships in mind.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think partnerships are central to our innovation strategy, Sushant. Alongside our growing in-house technology team in Hyderabad, we always do buy versus build versus partnership. And we have several partners. For example, we're partnering with Palantir Technologies, where we're addressing one of the industry's biggest productivity headache, payment reconciliation. If you ask the industry, it's just to match the payment to a specific event like a visit or a procedure is really time-taking and really laborious. We built an agentic AI workflow based on Palantir platform that's helping us automate and streamline the reconciliation process that historically was taking hundreds of hours. Now it's like in minutes. No, we haven't announced the next one yet. We will be doing very shortly. We're developing a digital twin of our operations with a partnership. Um, and this, like a digital twin is a model that simulates our trial workflows and site performance in real time. This will allow us to optimize the trials before the launch, accelerating timelines and without compromising on the quality. We will announce this pretty soon. And significantly, we were recently invited to join the Council of Responsible Use of AI in Clinical Trials by Advara, alongside some of the leading companies in the life sciences space, to set the standards, strengthen the model governance, and define the measurable outcomes to advance the use of AI throughout the clinical trial lifecycle. In parallel, we're continuously scaling our proprietary technology like Vision, or VIP, which is a recently launched Velocity Insight platform. VIP already gives sponsors near real-time visibility into enrollment deviations, site performances, and saving time and reducing the trial risk. Again, I'd like to underline, because we are the largest integrated site network in the world with 70 plus and 1.5 million patient database. The scale that we have is going to enable us to deploy these innovations at any of these sites. The combination of the size, the proprietary technology, and the smart infrastructure sets us apart from a traditional site organization and allows us to partner, build the innovation that we believe will accelerate the research, like how we would like to do that. We're working with some of the largest players, like I said, in summary, to build the right innovations responsibly to really enable that drug see the market as quickly as possible.
Raghu, are you excited about the Indian market too?
We constantly are. So we continuously analyze the progress in the Indian market, and we make the right next step. We take the right next step. We will continuously do that, and I'd love to see eventually have a Velocity expand its research capability into Asia and India for sure. Yeah.
Raghu, anything specific that you would want to tell our viewers about? Because now that we have talked to you, we obviously come to know that there's so much that Velocity is doing.
Yeah.
But if there's anything specific that you want to point on with our viewers this time around?
Yeah, absolutely, Sushant. I think I gave so many examples as a real world evidence to know how, or to establish how GenAI is making its strides in clinical research. From a Velocity perspective, the reason I'm saying this again, I think it probably inspires other organizations similarly, is we're not just adopting AI. We're shaping how it belongs in a clinical research. The scale, infrastructure, and most importantly, the responsibility. That is the Velocity difference. I believe that's what will enable any organization adopt GenAI into their business so they can make the right business value addition. We're super excited on what it can continue to do in this industry, because it's very close to my heart. And thank you again for having me here. I really enjoyed sharing how we're adopting AI at scale.
We've enjoyed a lot, Raghu. In fact, as a matter of fact, I would rather say that as I go through the company website, and I'm sure that there's so many things that are in the offing. But I'm sure that with the path that you've adopted, and the way you are going, the speed at which you're going, I'm sure that things would turn out to be really favorable for an industry which is as big as yours.
Yep. Thank you so much. I truly hope so, and I truly believe so.
Right. Thank you so much, Raghu. And with this, we come to the end of this session. And it was really a pleasure talking to you. And I hope the questions that have been asked are something which you were always looking out for. And I'm sure that our viewers are going to be getting so much from this.
Thank you so much, Sushant. I totally agree. These are some great, thought-provoking questions. I hope the answers help, and I sure look forward to the feedback from the viewers.
Absolutely, Raghu. And we look forward to having you again on board.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Raghu.